Cyberpunk 2.0 is out, Phantom Liberty, and if you're getting crashes, black screens, blank screens, unable to launch, random crashes while in game, etc, this video shows you quite a few fixes that you can try to get your game to be a lot more stable. Obviously, as it's a big update, things have probably changed quite a bit under the hood, a lot of mods are broken, and that's actually the first thing that I'll be showing you here. If you have any mods installed for Cyberpunk 2077 and you've updated to 2.0 now, most of them, if not all of them, won't be working at all. As far as I understand, they've disabled some of the mod frameworks, so some mods shouldn't be loaded at all, but if you've at all modified your Cyberpunk installation folder, it could be causing crashes without you even knowing. First of all, I'll open up Steam, as here is where I own the game. If I search for Cyberpunk, locate it, right-click, hover over Manage, and choose Browse Local Files, you'll see, obviously, all of your game files here. Now, I haven't done much to this installation, but usually you may have a mods folder and things like that. Any custom folders that you've created, you need to temporarily move all of them using right-click cut into a separate different folder. Whether you want to move out all of these custom or modified files yourself into, say, a Cyberpunk 2077 old folder as such, there we go, or you want to rename the entire Cyberpunk directory in order to re-download the game completely, that is also an option you can do. A lot of people are suggesting on the Cyberpunk forums that you completely reinstall your game to get everything fresh for the 2.0 update, but of course that may not be necessary unless you're getting crashing and you have modified your files previously. One of the simplest fixes you can do is right-click the game, head to Properties, and on the Installed Files tab, simply click Verify Integrity of Game Files. It'll run through all of the files for the game and make sure everything matches the server. If something doesn't, it'll be re-downloaded and patched up. This goes for modified files, etc. that some mods have messed around with, and those should be fixed up now when you run this. But of course, if you have extra DLLs, custom folders and things like that in the games folder, they may still be loaded and cause the game to crash, of course. So in that case, you can rename the entire folder, such as old, like that, and in Steam, right-click, manage, choose uninstall, then of course reinstall it, and a fresh download will be created. Obviously, it's a big download, so it's a bit of a hassle to do, but if you've modified your game files a lot, this is probably the simplest solution for you if you don't remember what you've changed, and it's not just a simple mods folder. With that out of the way, and modding out of the question, let's say you're using a completely base Cyberpunk 2077 2.0 Phantom Liberty version, and it's still crashing on launch, perhaps in-game, etc. What can we do to try and fix this? Well, there's a few different solutions, and some of these were mentioned in my previous video from a few years back. First of all, disabling the good old games overlay if you have the GOG launcher installed. I've opened up GOG here. I'll head into the cogwheel in the top left, followed by Settings, and inside of here on the Game Features tab, we'll simply untick Overlay over here. If you do this and you own the game, or at least have the Good Old Games launcher installed, it could help fix crashing if for some reason the Good Old Games launcher is causing instability. That is a very simple solution, but of course only applies if you have that installed. Something else we can do just to test is disable the Steam overlay by coming into Steam, right-clicking the game, Properties, and on the General tab, you'll find Enable the Steam overlay while in game. You can temporarily turn this off here, which will completely disable the Shift tab Steam menu in-game, but may improve stability for you if for some reason this is causing crashing. Essentially, what we're doing with these two fixes is trying to turn off anything that hooks into the game, modifying it some way or another, such as overlays. Something else that could cause instability is third-party overlays, such as Discord, frame counters, etc. Even some recording software may use certain hooks that cause instability with the game, so running the game as administrator may help stop some of those from hooking in and causing crashes, or of course, assuming you've turned off all of those overlays and things like that, stability may be improved. Something you can do is try and run the game as admin. Right-click the game, hover over Manage, and choose Browse Local Files. Inside of here, we'll open up the bin folder, x64, and we'll find Cyberpunk 2077.exe. Right-click this and create a new shortcut. For me, it's hidden away in More Options, Create Shortcut over here. I'll simply place this on my desktop, then we'll rename it to make life a bit better. So I'll just remove shortcut and .exe, then we'll right-click this, Properties, and on the Compatibility tab, make sure to tick Run this program as administrator, Apply, and OK. Whenever you launch the game using this shortcut, it'll run as admin, and hopefully any external software that's trying to modify it will no longer be able to. It's not the perfect solution, but it is definitely a solution in the meanwhile. If you'd like to disable the Discord overlay, it's very simple. Simply navigate across to Discord, and in the user settings section, head down to overlay, which should be right all the way here at the bottom under activity settings, and we can disable it here entirely. If you have Discord, PTB, Canary, or any of those clients installed, disable this option there as well. Obviously, you can re-enable it later, but if this helps stability, then there's a solution. Obviously, with the new update of the game comes the need for updated drivers, so make sure your Windows is up to date through Windows Update, and your graphics card drivers as well, whether you download them from the official NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, etc. websites, or you use software like NVIDIA GeForce Experience to update your driver. Just get in them and check to see that everything's up to date. It's definitely worthwhile, and of course may even improve your performance when you get back into game. If you're running software like MSI Afterburner or anything like that to mess around with your CPU, graphics card, or RAM clocks, as in overclocking, undervolting, etc., you may have an unstable overclock, undervolt, etc. setup that's causing Cyberpunk to crash specifically. A lot of the time, certain overclocks will be fine in all games except for maybe 1 or 2 and even 1 or 2 maps, etc. If you have any kind of overclocks or other modifications to your CPU, RAM, or GPU power, clock, etc., then it's a good idea to temporarily disable them, restart your PC entirely, and see if you're still getting crashes. If any one of those is causing a crash, then it's a good idea to dial it back a step or two, as it's probably right on the edge of causing issues versus not. Then, of course, one of the last solutions I've heard of using is reinstalling your C++ redistributables, which is essentially how your system handles the code behind the game working. There's a few different tools that we can use to reinstall all versions of C++ runtimes, for example, the all-in-one installer from Tech PowerUp. We can download it here, choose any server, and open up the zip once it's done. You'll find a ton of exes in here. Simply extract them to a folder on your desktop, for example, as such. Then we can run the install.bat file here, and it'll run through all of the installers one after the other, making sure that everything's installed and up to date when it comes to C++ runtimes. If you get a pop-up saying you already have it installed, simply click OK and move on. If you receive any error messages while installing any one of these runtimes here, it's a good idea to Google that error code, as something may be preventing the C++ runtime from installing, as when it installs through Steam, for example, the first time you fire up the game, the error message may be skipped over entirely, hidden, etc., and now you found the cause of the issue. Finally, a last good tip, if you haven't already, is to run SFC and DISM, which are Windows integrity repair commands that'll run through your Windows files and make sure everything's set up properly as it should be and nothing's messed around with your system in any way. These are built into your computer already and very quick to run. Hit start, type in CMD or terminal on Windows 11, right-click and choose Run as Administrator. Then in the pop-up, type in SFC /scan now, one word, and hit enter. Then once this command has finished running, run DISM /online with a capital O /cleanup capital C -image capital I /check health. Hit enter. This will check your system to make sure nothing is wrong. Then we'll hit up to get to our previous command, and instead of check health, we'll use scan health. Hit enter once more. This will take a little bit longer to run, and you'll get a progress bar. Then finally, once this is done, take out scan health once more by hitting up and backspace, then restore health as such, and when this command runs to completion, it should make sure that everything's the way that it should be. Finally, all you need to do is reboot your system completely, and when you get back into Windows, things should be working happily. That's really about it. If you find another solution, make sure to leave it in the comments down below, and of course, in the future, if this video didn't fix your issues, check down below, as someone else may have already commented the solution. Thank you for watching. My name's been Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao!